Well. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good night, g'day, even. Tirana's Cosplay here, doing another stream and starting off another project. As you can see by the title, I'm doing another sword, another commissioned sword. I have two commissioned swords on the boiler at the moment. I've finished Jon's Dragon Sword, and we are now working out how to freight that to the Netherlands from Australia, because DHL and FedEx want $300 Australian or €207 to send that prop across to Jon. We're looking at some other options. Luckily, both of the two sword commissions that I currently have in front of me are for clients here in Western Australia, so we won't have an issue with freight. In fact, both of them will be collecting them at the same function on the 26th of August. So I have 6 weeks to make two swords, and that is not a task at all. Tonight's sword is a sword from Skyrim, and for those of you who've been following along, you'll know I'm kind of comfortable with the whole Skyrim sword making process. Tonight's background music, which I'm now turning down a little bit, comes to us from our mate Dark. G'day fan, how are you? Good to see you. Tonight's background music, as I said, comes to us by Dark Energy Designs. Thank you very much, Dark. We'll have that playing away in the background. Let's get down to business. Okay, we'll tip this one down on work surface. Whoops. I moved it, now the two-sided tape is going, yep, no. So this sword is for another cosplayer here in Western Australia who also likes to do some Skyrim costuming. He has asked me to make him the steel GreatSword from the game. So it's another two-hander, scaled to the same scale as my Nordic two-hander. This will be a 145 centimeter long weapon from tip of the blade to the pommel, which is down there. Going to do exactly the same composition as the rest of my weapons. It's going to be 2 layers of foam, EVA foam mats, floor mats, which will mean that it'll end up about 20 to 25 centimeters thick at the blade. The plan is then to do overlay here and overlay here, probably under 2mm craft foam, to allow me to cut all these beautiful pattern and detail and have it embossed above the surface. And I may end up doing 2 layers of 2mm above the blade, because you can see that that is supposed to look quite thick, and 1 layer of 2mm foam I don't think will sell it. So what I might do is lay a 2mm layer of foam down in that triangle shape, and then a second 2mm layer with the pattern cut out of it. To the crossguard, same kind of deal. Having a look at reference images, the crossguard tapers off when it gets out to the end of the quillions. Not to a sharp point or anything, but it's thinner at the tip of the quillions than it is in the center. That won't be a hassle. There's a band across the middle of the handle. And the pommel is a kind of unique shape, but again, I have plans for that. So my normal starting process is to cut out the pattern of the sword and make a length of foam long enough to put that pattern on. Make 2 of those. Trace the pattern out, work out where the core is going to be on the inside so that it runs down the center of the blade. I've seen a trick that Bill Durand just did with Zombie on the little Ord sword, where he used the template as a pattern to lay down the core. And I thought, I should have thought of that ages ago, considering the number of swords I'm making. I'm also going to bind the handle as per the game. I've got a really nice reference image that I'm using. This one for the pattern, of course, but there is a graphic floating around on my hard drive here. I don't think that's the one. No, it's not. Okay, let me get into my folder here. That's reference for another job, so that one won't work. Bink! Wrong hard drive. Now I know what you're thinking. How can you have so many hard drives? Easy. Oh, really? I haven't moved it into the reference folder, which means it could be any bloody where. There's that image there. That'll do. That'll work. Okay, let me change this across to screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so that is actually the printout in its full color glory. So you can see that there's a leather binding on the, is that the repose? Is that what that part's called? It's something like that that starts with an R. It's basically, from what I understand, if you're going to use if you get caught using a GreatSword in close quarters, you can move your hand up from the grip to here, to this, I'm going to call it the repose until somebody corrects me, so that you have more control over the blade in tighter situations. So I've discovered, also somebody was trying to tell me. So yeah, we're going to do that in a leather bind with the strapping and the same up here. There's a zoom in function around here somewhere. So I'm going to try and do that strapping, the stitching, I should say, as well. That's much further down the track. Back to the stream, change this to there. Thing, gotta love video games, man. You usually find really good models online. Exactly. So yeah, this is lifted straight out of the game, this artwork, so I think I'm going to end up with a fairly convincing blade, and he likes the whole dynamic of my Nordic GreatSword, the one that Rory's wearing on his back, so much so he was tossing up an and ahhing between the two weapons for a while, and then settled on this one. So as I said, it's 145 centimeters. Yep, 145. So now I have to make some foam. 145 by at least 300. Probably better doing 330 to get across that cross guard. Side. 145 times 30 to be on the safe side. Put my little chocks over there behind my cup of tea. And how's your programming coming along? Still smashing numbers into keyboards furiously? Put that over there. Patching away. Well, someone's got to do it, man. And, you know, as much as I like you, basically better you than me. So I got another two lovely pieces of 600mm by 600mm. So yeah, basically 2 foot by 2 foot, which is a bit larger than the stuff that we normally get our hands on over here. And oops, it's 12mm thick. Because I'm going to use a 16mm hardwood dowel as the core, I want to use these slightly thicker sheets than the 10mm sheets so that there's more meat down the ridge of the blade after I countersink the core through the center of the foam. Is what we're going to do is we're going to trace out the pattern. We're going to lay the core down the middle so that these 2 pieces of foam will stick level like they are now, but with a wooden dowel between the 2 of them. So if I'm using thinner foam, there's going to be less foam between the top of the dowel, and yeah, you know what I mean. So yeah, it's quite chunky. It's nice and thick. Now 60 and 60 is only 120, but it gets worse than that because I think it's 60 to 60 from the outside. It is. And when I join the foam, I cut those off so that I'm gluing 2 flat edges together. Because it's really freaking difficult to get a nice flat seam, a join. Sorry, I stood over here so you can see. It's really difficult to get 2 pieces of foam to stick a flush if you're going to try and glue the jigsaw puzzle edge together. I find it's much easier just to remove that jigsaw puzzle edge and stick 2 nice flat surfaces together, which gives me one clean line as a seam somewhere along the weapon. It also gives me a flush surface. What are you doing, Bubby? So make a toasted sandwich instead of dragging your stockinged feet across the ground. Yeah, it's an old-fashioned term, but that's what it means. What, to make a toasty in your brand new toasty machine? That's what? It's almost midnight. So that increases the level of effort, does it? Such a wuss. Whoa, what the hell? Grims cheered 10 cheers. Super Doopy Dai Shin Chow Ultra Mega Extreme Over the Top Overly Juiced on Octane High Powered Dial Turned Up to 11 Mega Super Robot Shotgun Fart Shart Attack. Wow. Thank you. You fucking idiot. Good morning, Siron. How are you, mate? Welcome to the madhouse that is Tyrannus TV, apparently. Damn, that's a description. I hope you've got that cut and pasted so you can just slap that on the screen any damn time you need to, man. By the way, the unsharpened part of the GreatSword with a leather... Ricasso. Thank you, Ricasso. I knew it started with an R. Thank you very much. Ricasso, yes. I don't know why I got reposé. Reposé is like a pose. Like a stance, I mean, not a pose. Same thing. Sorry, Bobby? She said you're the best mum ever. Yes. The workshop elf talks in her sleep. Okay. Let's clear a little bit.
So white and shiny.
White and shiny? Oh, yeah.
Like new
Your new toasted sandwich maker is slight and shiny. Yeah, try not to break it straight away. Get a little bit of use out of it, alright? Good old 8:25 a.m. So you're a bit asleep. Well, it's 10 to midnight here, bro. Yon Lions, how are you? Yeah, I'll have a toasty with you. Just the one. Does she go to school tomorrow? Thursday, alright.
She's just come out of hospital with bug again. She's been there for a couple of days. She's really sick.
Okay.
You know I've got more things.
Oh, wait a minute. This just made my day. What have you done to me? Whoa, what the hell? Grim's cheered 10 cheers. Super duper die shin chow ultra mega extreme over the top overly juiced on octane high powered dial turned up to 11 mega super robot shotgun fart shark attack. Thank you. Right. Okay. So Grim's just clipped me reading out his description of his cheers. I nearly said Bitcoin. What? You're downloading Bitcoin on your computer?
Yes. I'm not phone.
Why?
Something I want to know what it is.
Now the problem is that crossguard on the blade is so wide that I'm probably not. I'm not going to get two that way. So my solution would be to top and tail the pattern, putting the wider end at one end of the pair, and the wider at the other end, and not cut the foam in half when I glue it, but cut it diagonally, I suppose. Anyway, let's make it into a big piece, and then we'll work out the logistics of that particular bit. Oh, you're the one who wants to spend $1 million on bloody girly fucking nails.
And I bet if I showed everyone.
Why? Actually, everybody who's watching is a guy. They would just go, waste of money.
They would still think they were pretty.
They would go, waste of fucking money. You can't even open a
I did.
can of Coke because of your ridiculous nails.
I open the code all freaking day without you. Thank you.
Whatever.
I have my Red Bull in the fridge. Unless you've drunk it.
No. I drunk my own Red Bull and then I brought a new Red Bull. Yeah. Crims, you're a fucking suckhole. I like a girl with nice nails.
Yeah.
If it makes her feel pretty, let her. I'm not stopping her. Back up the goddamn pity bus for the freaking high elf, alright?
He just complains.
I complain that she spends all this money and then complains that she can't actually use her fingers anymore. You know, to do practical stuff like scratch her ass or pick her nose or open a can of Coke or whatever, because her damn nails get in the way. Yes, I'm jealous that I don't have nails like I used to have when I worked in the printing industry. Yeah. What can I say? I like girls digging their nails in my back at times. This is my daughter we're talking about, Crims. That's the price she pays for being pretty. Oh, God, you guys are softies.
I love you.
See, look what you've fucking done now. You've encouraged her.
So, Dad,
So, Dad, what?
can I have $100 to get my nails done?
Because you have $100 to get her nails done. Thanks for the host, Crims.
It's cheap, do you? Actually, these only cost me $60. Then I do that.
Looking that good is not cheap. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
At least when I can get my hair done, that's at least a couple of $100.
And we got some love in turn from her. Yeah, you did. She yelled it out. You heard it. Oh, now she's blowing bloody kisses, for Christ's sake.
You know they only stream to listen to me, right?
They only tune into my stream to listen to you. That's what she's saying. And by that she means you guys only tune into my stream to hear her. Yup. You and your foam crafting expertise, that's why they're here.
Mm-hmm. And my prettiness.
And your prettiness. So, Jons, what'd you end up cooking for dinner, mate? And yes, I'm changing the fucking subject. There you go. Jons just says, if you want to spend your money on useless shit, you can pay for his shipping. Thank you, Fern. 30 bits in my can to pay for the nail fund. Really?
What, are people donating to you to get me my nails done?
Yeah. Don't get excited. It was like 30 cents. All right? Homemade fried chicken.
Yum.
Come on, you don't live down South America way. You're not like from Louisiana.
Doesn't mean they can't like fried chicken.
50 cents. Oh, sorry, I forgot the exchange rate.
Every little bit helps.
It does indeed. I just don't want her to get excited and start running away with my money to pay for her sword. Did we find? No, that's what Jons and I are talking about. At the moment, the cheapest we can find is $125 Australian, which is still, what, €85, which I still think is fucking robbery, but hey, it's a damn sight better than 300. It's a damn sight better than, just notice that, Jons, it's supposed to be comparing cheap freight. The one right down the bottom, UPS something super duper thingy, was $700 Australian. As one of the options to send the sword. $700 Australian. No. Not gonna happen. You right?
I think I broke this one now too.
What? Oh, toaster?
Yeah. It won't sit up there.
Yeah, one of the options from UPS to send less than 2 kilos of Fomax from Australia to the Netherlands, $700 Australian. That's got wet glue on it, don't bump into it accidentally. Or on purpose even. And yes, I'm telling you because I think you would actually do that.
I don't want to do all my pretty nails.
Yeah, they don't care. They can't see diddly squat about your pretty fucking nails. Down there. See? There you go. You alright?
Yep.
You're cramping my style. Fuck off. Most likely saying that those were pretty shiny.
See?
And shiny is good. Oh, are you making cheese on those?
No, yeah.
Do we have paprika when you get to making mine? A little sprinkle of paprika on the cheese and then in the toasty?
I've already put them in the toaster.
That's yours!
I'm not eating two!
Oh, really?
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, you're thinking about it. Exactly, you were. My senpai just went live. Ah, so he did. Make us some Tim Tams. I don't make Tim Tams. I go and buy Tim Tams, bitch. Aha, how convenient. Ted comes online and Ted comes online and Fen has to go for lunch. Yeah, yeah.
Lunch, it's midnight. Oh, wait.
Tim Tams. You got it.
Fine, I'll have these two in a couple.
Oh, she makes it sound like it's such an effort now. Fine, I'll have these two and you can have one.
I put everything away.
Oh.
So yes, it is an effort. So now we'll put it all back out again. Just to make you one fucking sandwich.
With paprika on the cheese.
Paprika and cheese.
Food you'll never be able to try. Why is that?
I don't get it.
Why would you never be able to try homemade chocolate chip fudge cookies or Tim Tams?
Can we send them? Oh wait, you can't send food to other countries.
Of course you can. Yes, you can. You just lie what's in the box.
Oh yeah, because customs are free for it.
Well, it's not like they stop anything that I send. By the way, that axe is still stuck in fucking Los Angeles. The international aisle at Target has them every so often.
An international island.
Yeah, apparently.
I know we have an international island. Oh.
We don't have an international aisle in Target over here. We just have Target.
Clothes. Blankets. Stuff.
Think I'm gonna go out after Ted. Muha. You gonna order pizza? I'm going to need to add another slab of foam on the end here because as you can see the blade hangs out quite a bit.
Coffee butter.
See if I can find me some Tim Tams. Tim Tam pizza. Ooh, no. Well, Crims keeps jumping into Ted's stream and disturbing him with pizza.
There was an ad on Facebook the other day of Pizza Hut doing macaroni and cheese pizza.
I have you, Tirana, streaming on your phone and Ted on your Xbox.
That is dedication.
Dedication, apparently. Okay.
Kudos to that day.
That is Skyrim. Skyrim 27. That's more than 30 centimeters too, god damn it. Just use multi-twitch TV. It's a thing, apparently. Okay, I need at least another 33 centimeters on the end of that. That's what she said.
I do not laugh like that.
You do not what?
Laugh like that.
Fuck hell you do. Oh yeah, there we go. We're going to give it a blue tip. You heard me. Don't make it crude, alright? Just No, just let it go. Just don't, no, just let it go. Kimberly, let it go. Let it go. Do I want to die? You're not going to eat 3, fatty Pumba.
And I haven't put yours in yet, so I don't have to keep making it. I'll wake up really until then.
Yes, the high elf's name is Kim. Yes.
Yes.
Actually, Kimberly.
No.
It's Crumble Bum. Crumble Bum is the high elf's name.
I won't love you.
You won't love me any less either. I'm your dad. It's in the contract. You don't have a choice.
I do.
No, you don't.
Janine.
Crumble Bum. See, there we go.
I will not be friends with you.
I don't know.
I remember it when we were kids.
I just like paprika on the cheese. Crims has just gone. I didn't know that we were friends in the first place.
I would like to pretend that we were friends. And now I'm going to go watch Grim. Not Crim.
Did you transfer those files onto that thumb drive?
Downloaded yet, Dad.
Jesus.
Just to download so you could stream.
Alright then, fine. Whatever.
That's what you told me to do.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
When do you ever do what I tell you to do? How many stacks of foam do I have?
3. See, I pay attention.
I have a few.
900.
I just buy them in packs of 6. Why, you're going to send me shitloads of foam? $37. And Helter Skelter cosplay in the house, ladies and gentlemen. I should square that up. God damn, did I really cut that crookedly the first time? Fire out.
God.
technically he's right. It is morning. It's all those toasty cheese sandwiches you've squeezed in there.
I haven't eaten fucking any.
Okay, so. Yeah. Glue that sucker on there. And that will give me enough material to trace that blade out twice. Whoop! There goes the double-sided tape. Rah! I'm putting some double-sided tape here. This is where the camera sits, directly up there, see? So you can... Up there, guarded by my Cybermen. And the rest of my junk. That way looks easier than what I do for making swords. Well then, you may feel free to copy my technique. My copyrighted technique. There we go. Righto. Let's stick that back on the double-sided tape. Right. Woo woo. Much better. Get the fuck back up there. If you could get one custom-made figurine of whatever, what would you get? Well, that's easy. I got one in the mail. It'll be here in the next couple of days. I got a custom-made figurine of me. Wearing that. They did the whole 3D mini photo.
Sandwich.
Thank you, sandwich. So where you go into the booth and get the 3D photo of yourself taken, then they do a 3D print. I got this one done like 3-4 years ago, first generation technology. So yeah, or my Darth Cyber costume, but I actually have a much better one coming, 18cm one. So let's do the conversion. 18 centimeters is about 7 inches tall, and that I was expecting this week. Helter Skelter says hi, Kim. The little squeaky girly voice. I'm all feminine now.
say hi in a nice voice.
You're allowed to say hi in a nice voice. Notice when she talks to me, the voice is real bitchy.
That's because you're a bitch.
Your voice is bitchy because I'm the bitch.
That's why you do a toasted sandwich. Don't pick on me.
That's supposed to be my loving, doting, darling daughter.
I just made you a toasted sandwich.
She is, however, the middle child, and you know, the
Don't say it.
emotionally scarred one. Did you see that thing on Facebook today that said second children are more likely than any other children in the family to grow up to be criminals?
Well, that failed, didn't it?
Well, I don't know. Like all daughters when they speak to dad. Yep.
Eat your sandwich before I spit in it.
Eat my sandwich before you spit in it. I think it might be a bit late for that. So, for those of you who come in late, basically what I'm doing is I have another Skyrim GreatSword to make. This is the Steel GreatSword. It's another commission. So, it's big. It's 150 centimeters, 145 centimeters long, so I need to glue several pieces of foam together to start getting my base shape done. Don't you dare put glue on my jacket, you bastard. Dang, might be bad for me in the middle. You're the middle child also. Oh yes, Crumblebum is the middle child. She has a older sister and she has a younger brother. Am I posting this one? Hell no. This will be collected at Evolve, mate. As will the next one that I make, is also a commission to be collected at Evolve. Jon and I are still finding the best course of action to get his sword posted across or sent across to the Netherlands. Now there probably is a slightly cheaper option again. However, if we send it by sea, Jon, you'll get it in 2 to 3 months' time. Two brothers and I are all 7 years apart. Yes, it was, mate. That was supposedly 2 to 3 days delivery window. Supposedly. I just jumped over and checked it. Yeah, I don't know whether we're going to find any better than that. Fuck yeah, I could load him up with all the rest of my international commissions and he could be my foam mule. €1,035 for a return flight. my foam courier. I don't know. Foam mule has much better connotations. Okay, so 2.5 sheets later. Yeah, we weren't talking about getting you home. Just come over and grab the sword and then yo-yo, as my son says. You're on your own. So get one across here. It's ridiculous, isn't it? It cost $1,000 to go there and back, and for what is that? 38 euro difference to get back again. Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. So do one this way. Excuse me. And one that way. Which will serve two purposes. Excuse me. It means I don't have to worry about making the foam wider because the cross guard is wider than half of the foam width. So if I'm doing top and tail, I can get away with that. It also means that the laminated joints, not that it's a major issue, will not be directly above each other when I stack these two bits of foam. They're going blade to pommel one way round and then blade to pommel the other way round. It'll be like a brick wall. These overlaps will have a seam here and a seam here instead. It's going to be a monstrous piece of freaking sword. And again, I find myself asking, guys, has anybody seen or heard from Seek recently? It's just fallen off the radar, eh? I hope he's alright. Yes, Jons, the stream did just die. No, it's back. Unfortunately, there was a slight case of Netflicitis. Yes, we had a moment where we forgot that Netflix also takes up bandwidth. Yeah, Aussie solar powered internet is about fucking right, considering that it's after midnight. That's how much solar power it's getting. I put some daylight shots up of the sword on my Instagram too, Yons, and on my Facebook, I think. It's bad for the small of your back. I'm still here. I'm doing the handle trace out, which means I'm off camera. Because the camera isn't high enough up. Yeah. So much wasted foam. That'll work. Just drop that on the floor because that's how I roll. Okay, now that's hanging out over the edge of my workbench. So I'm going to spin it around 180 and do it in the same location that I just did that one. You talking to yourself in there, girl? Oh, alright. Thought she'd gone off the deep end and was talking to herself. Wouldn't be surprising in this family. Nothing wrong with talking to yourself, as long as you don't reply to yourself. Hey, I have to reply to myself. I'm the only one I trust. Travis, I'm going to try and use the Brain Jelly mold as a mold for Crafterflex. That way I can keep the mold for whatever comes up next. Sounds like an idea, man. I like that idea. What is the Brain Jelly mold made out of? Is it a tin mold or is it a plastic mold? Plastic. Is it going to hold up to the heat of heating up the Crafterflex and pushing it in, or are you going to have to heat up the Crafterflex off to the side, drop it on the plastic and then try and push it in and get it to mold in? Second way, heat it off to the side, so kind of like doing a vacuum form. You heat up your Crafterflex, bring it across, drop it inside the brain and mold it. All right. Okay, there's my two sword profiles drawn. Now, I'm not going to cut them out on the line. There's a pin still in that. I'm not going to cut them out on the line and then try and get them to sit over each other perfectly. No, that's not how I roll. No. I'm going to cut them out roughly. I'm going to then glue the two templates over each other and then use one as the master. That's a lot of texture I'm going to have to remove. I'll clean up the spruce mark on it and drape it over the top of the mold. Yeah, there's an idea too. Dag nabbit. Where's my knife? Up there. Okay. Really? What do you think of the new Doctor? I like the idea that it's a woman. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. I would have preferred to see an older character take the role. Only because Doctor's 2,000 years old now. And he's seen some shit. It's seen some shit. I think Jodie has a very young face. I mean, sure, David Tennant and Matt Smith both look young as well, and that's okay, I suppose, and I quite enjoyed both of their interpretations. Just she's gonna have to act her ass off. But that's okay too. I got no qualms at all about it. The Doctor regenerating as a Sheila. See, now, with the Doctor being a woman, I can legitimately watch Doctor Who and tell all my non-nerdy mates I'm just perving on the Sheila for the boobs and the shape of her ass. When I'm actually watching Doctor Who, I won't get picked on as much because now I can just say I'm perving on the actress. Like, whether the Doctor was a male or a female ever had anything to do with the Doctor Who storyline in any way, shape or form. Yeah, exactly, to be picked for such a major role, although there's been a couple of actors who've just been thrown into the job that haven't had a lot of chops prior to that, but now it's more prestigious, yeah. And besides, she held it. She did a good job in Broadchurch. I'm sure she'll do a good job in The Doctor. It's not just her though. It's what the hell are the writers going to do now? It's as much up to them, if not more, than it is up to the person in the role, because they can convey all the acting that they can. If the scripts are crap, they got fuck all to work with. You thought they were going to cast a ginger. I thought they were going to cast an African American. Lenny Henry. I don't think Lenny Henry's technically an African American. Yeah, mate. They want a 7-foot tall African or dark Englishman from Swapshire. So, I got my 2 layers of foam with my pattern drawn on both, and what I'm really going to do is do something akin to that. So now I have both texture size from Birmingham. Governor. So you're going to do that. And actually from Dudley, near where you were born. Alright? I'm going to mark the centre of the blade, and then I'm going to mark the head of the pommel, and I'm going to cut away the foam so that those tips are exposed. I'm going to do that on both surfaces, and that will allow me to line up the centre line on both the layers of foam on the inside, so they run directly down the middle of the pattern that we've got drawn on the outside. Here, let me demonstrate, alright? The reason I'm not tracing out the pattern and then trying to glue them together, you got to go, no worries, Jons, is that I find actually getting the edges to line up nice and smooth when I do that to be virtually impossible. So I'm going to cut it out about 1.5 centimeters outside the line, glue the two together, and then when they're glued together with the cord down the middle, I'll then cut through both layers of foam on the line to give me my profile. So what do you think, T? The sword ready for painting tonight? Shit. No, packaging, it'll be gone. The time you come back, I'll have it all packed up in a box ready to go. I'll move on to the next one. No. I may get it, you know what, I'm tempted to glue it with the smooth faces together, because pretty much everything, I think you can see it, everything from about here up to the pommel will be covered with either another layer of foam or leather binding and shaped. Which means the texture on the other side of this foam will be hidden by an outer layer. From about here down to the tip of the blade is actually the blade itself, and that I can smooth out with the sander. So yes, that's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to actually use the smooth side of the foam as the center, and that's going to speed up a lot of the build process. So that's what we're going to do. That is what, well, by we I mean that's what I'm going to do, yeah. Right, and stop a lot of dust, absolutely. What I've done is I removed material here so that the tip of the pattern is right on the tip of the blade, because I'm still going to need to transfer this pattern to the outside of the foam now that we're going to use the center core, the smooth surface as the center. So I need to transfer the pattern to the outside so I can cut it out, but I need the pattern to be exactly above this pattern so that when I lay the wooden core down, inside here, it's still going to be right down the center of the sword. So yeah, so the way to do that is I cut away the material here at the tip of the blade, and I cut away the material across the top of the pommel, and do that on both halves. Actually, I only need to do that on one half. I do. I only need to do that on one half. Why do I only need to do it on one half? I need to do it on both halves because I need to line up both centers. Typical. That doesn't look fucking right at all. Because it's not 7.5, it's bloody 6.5, you twit. Half of the 13 is 6.5. There. Yay, math! See, now by doing that, we can take our pattern and we can line up those two halfway at those 2 points, tip of the blade and that. And I know that the line on the other side, where I'm going to use as my guide to countersink the dowel into the foam, is going to be directly below the center of this pattern. Yeah. What are you fucking doing? You moved. Okay, so I pinned it at both ends. hanging off the end of the table there. It's jobs like these where you'd love to have yourself a big old roll of TNT cosplay foam. Because TNT cosplay foam got no texture on either side. Although that's foam sales in Booragoon, Helter, they sell big old sheets of foam with no texture for about $50 a sheet apparently. T is accepting sponsorships. Well, I do have a sponsor, but at the moment they are still going through their agreement to import foam. And I don't think TNT is going to send me foam. Cost $300 to send a foam sword, remember? So by rights, that outline, which I can barely make out, shit, that ain't working. Another silver one there. Wizzo! Well, that's me still pissing and moaning about the price of sending Jon's sword to Norway for him. I mean, I know it's Jon's expense, he's the client, but even so, that's still fucking ridiculous. And I did some further research today. The axe, the terminology they're using on the tracking means that it is in Los Angeles Customs. And the length of time that they've had it means that there is an issue. But they have up to 45 days before they actually need to notify me of the issue. And as of today, they've had it 32 days. Really? I didn't trace the core of the axe is plastic. Yes, it is. It's PVC tube. It may be my declared value. I only declared it at $30, which is what it costs to make, as opposed to the retail value, because I wasn't selling it. It's giving it away. It may be because it's got the fake fur around the top of the handle underneath the blade, and they may have opened it and gone, oh my god, natural fibre! Ah! Or it may just be, as per the information, that the ICS Center in Los Angeles has 530 staff. 500 of those staff are male process workers, simply sorting out the parcels that go in each pile and all the rest of it. 30 are the guys in customs that are tasked with inspecting and making sure that it's all up to spec. And it's not just whether it's got contraband, it's whether it meets import duty and all those sorts of things. So it might just be, but they put it in a pile that needs further investigation, and they're too damn swamped to get back to it. That doesn't please me. Now, as I was saying, do I need to transfer the pattern? Well, no matter what the issue is, I hope that the outcome is that it makes it there in one piece and everything's okay with it. As do I. I mean, I'm sure it's not a commission. Justin hasn't brought a but he has won a prize, and that should not negate the value of it to him in any way, shape or form. So yeah, I hope it gets sold really fucking soon, so Justin gets his axe and I don't look like a bad guy. Well, a worse guy than I am, you know. Well, it is on me. I chose the freighting method to send that. Shows that I'm a bit of a newbie that doesn't understand the nuances of sending stuff internationally. So yes, I worked out why I need to trim this on both pieces. Okay, because I'm going to use the outline that I've already got here to line up where the center of the core gets recessed in this face and in the other face. So I'm going to need to know on both surfaces where the two silhouettes sync up with each other, so that I know the core is in the center on both pieces. Yeah. So while I do not need to trace the pattern of the blade out on the other side of this foam, I need to make sure that the two pieces of foam are lined up when I glue them together, that is, so that the core recesses in the middle of both. 6.5, where's my silver one? That'll do. 6.5 this time, guys, hey? Not 7.5. Stay on my nose, you bastards. No, Australia Post actually says that they're going to deliver to America in 5 days. And, yeah, they did. Left Australia on the 12th. Landed in America. Well, it left me on the 12th. Got to Las Vegas ICS or ISC, whatever the hell it is, on the 17th. That's their 5 days. They kept up their end of the bargain. Got processed through that, and now it's in the hands of the gods that call themselves custom. You're off to bed? No worries, mate. It's 1:10. So yeah, go get yourself some Zeds, my friend. So now I need to mark the center down both sides of the blade. Then I need to mark out a 16mm wide line, because that's how wide the dowel is that I'm using. Once I've done that, I'm going to take my box cutter and I'm going to cut a V groove 16mm wide into the foam. Then we're going to use the sanding disc on the Dremel to round out that channel so it will house the dowel to the halfway mark in both of them. So when I place them back on top of each other, they should sit flush with no ridge where the dowel is, and the dowel should sit right down the center spine of the blade, so that when I cut out the profile, it's still in the center of the blade on the outside edge, the outside face. Yeah. Sorry, I'm over analyzing it myself. I'm just repeating it to myself for reassurance. You got me. Fuck it, we'll do it there. .64 is going to be about 32, so around about there is going to be center. My ruler isn't long enough to go from end to end. What's that? .76, 35, 38. .42 is 21. Okay, so in theory, those dots are the center line. Well, they're lining up, so I can't complain about that. Well, I can complain about everything. I normally do. Okay. Now my plan is to cut the channel from about here where the blade starts tapering, because it's also where I'm going to start tapering it down on the top. So I'm going to cut my channel from about here and house the dowel from there, because I want the safe foam tip. If I put the dowel all the way to the tip, it removes my ability to shape the end without hitting the dowel, and it also means it becomes unsafe as a thrusting weapon accidentally being poked into somebody at the con. If I move the beginning of the dowel back about 6 or 7 centimeters, it's going to give me a squishy tip. Exactly. If it gets thrust at somebody, or somebody falls upon it, or gets bumped against it or whatever, the foam will buckle out of the way before the dowel starts hurting and causing discomfort. For the other end of the weapon, I'm going to make the dowel travel all the way up the blade and through the handle to form kind of a tang to give it obviously strength, because this is where all the force and the fulcrum is going to be when this blade is being when this weapon is being wielded. So I'm going to take the dowel all the way up and into the pommel and stop it about 2 inches from the top of the pommel. Again, so that the dowel is completely enclosed in the foam, so there's no chance of somebody harming themselves on that end of the weapon. which is very rare but possible. But I need the dowel to extend past the handle so that wherever it's gripped is secure. So that's my plan anyway, guys. I find if I don't explain it out loud, I don't register it in my head, and you guys just get a video without very much explanation of what I'm doing. So the tape of the blade starts about 10 centimeters back or 100 mil back. So that's where I'm going to put my dowel. I'm going to start it there. And like I said, about 2 inches, so about 5 centimeters of nothing but solid foam up here means that my dowel is going to protrude right through the handle up into the pommel slightly. Okay, so I need to widen this line out to the 16 mil wide that the dowel is going to be in the middle of it. Gravity. You doing all right, Bubby? What are you still doing awake, honey? You're watching Grimm. Okay. Lovely. Love it. Muhaha. What's all that? Birdie! Release the dingoes, the drop bears, the lizards and the roos, and as soon as to Australia killer robots bigger than anywhere else, because everything in Australia's trying to kill you. Fucking crikey, mate. Dingo by jingos. How are your master beard char? I've been anticipating your arrival, sir. You think those robots should be upside down? Just got home, seen you and came online in the tax line. Wait, in the tax line? What do you mean? You're at the at the taxation office paying your tax, watching my stream on your phone. Is this what you're trying to communicate with the dumb Aussie? That you just got home. Oh, hang on. You just got home. You saw the notification that I came online whilst waiting in the tax line. Right. Car taxes. What, rego? Right. Anyway. You're here. That's what counts. So are you sitting comfortably, Master Beardshire? I wish to tax your brain. Lovely. $100 a year to drive a car on a 5 by 10 foot square on your own driveway. Fucking hell. Okay. You guys reckon us Aussies are fucking weird. 76 is 38. Okay. Master Beardshire, are you familiar with a very crappy 1980s movie called The Highlander? There can be only one. I'm Conor MacLeod from the Clan MacLeod, and I was born in Glenfiddich in 1547, or something very similar to that. In other words, no you're not, you're about to Google it. That wasn't a movie, that was a documentary. Oh, well, yes, of course. Based entirely upon fact. The events did happen in real time. Indeed, they did. It was amazing that one of the key people in that documentary looked a lot like Sean Connery. However, he happened to be a Spanish Egyptian. Or an Egyptian Spaniard. I don't know. That bit always confuses me. So anyway, it appears that you are vaguely familiar with the documentary of which I speak. No. We are not interested in the second movie. They weren't time travelers, they were aliens. During Conor MacLeod's formative years, where he discovers his immortality, he lives in the Scottish Islands, hence the reason he's called the Highlander, and he wields a sword and a shield into his first battle, where he is introduced to death for the first time, shall we say. I've got the scene from that movie and I've stripped it down frame by frame because I have a client who is interested in a sword and board build Connor's sword and Connor's axe, Connor's shield. Yep, then outcast, exactly, because he does the Lazarus thing. Comes back to life 3 days later, kind of thing. So anyway, when the Kurgan kills him, he is wielding the family sword with MacLeod written across the top of the crossguard. Most of the replica swords that I can find of that sword have a tapered blade like the blades I've been building just recently, like Yon's blade. However, there's a very clear scene of him at his homestead with his wife at the time. Big smile on his face as he is running a sharpening steel down the side of the blade, and you can see that the blade is virtually parallel for the portion that you can see. Considering the period 1550s, 1560s, and your obvious acknowledgement of the movie, what the fuck is that blade's profile supposed to look like? Is it supposed to be a tapered blade from the crossguard down to the tip? Or is it supposed to be pretty much parallel and then tapering down to a point? Yep, see. Okay, let's take a gander at that. Yes, now see, that's the scene I'm talking about. While he's sharpening it, the blade looks practically parallel. Sure, there's a slight taper there. Now have a look at any of the replica blades of that sword that you see around the place. Yeah. See the one he's holding in his hand in this second link that you've just put up for me? Compare that to the one on the graphic on the right hand side of the page, which has a most definitely wrong coloured grip, wrong shaped pommel, and I believe a far too dramatically tapered blade. I want to reproduce the one in the movie, the one in the scene that he's sharpening basically. I do not necessarily want to reproduce that replica on the right hand side of that screen. Don't know. The scene where he dies and he's flat on his back, where the Kurgan kills him and it zooms out above him. The MacLeod sword is laying on the ground beside him, and again, if it's a stunt sword, it has virtually parallel edges to the blade. All the replicas I see are a very distinctly pointed taper, like the one on the right in the second link that Finn has just put up. From my collection, it's around about 105 centimeters. It's an arming sword, a one-hand sword, even though they're calling it a claymore. That's bullshit. Even my puny little Aussie brain making foam swords for a couple of months disputes the fact that that's a claymore. Unless, of course, I'm wrong, and then I would humbly accept that. See, it's not a claymore. I don't know if it's an arming sword because I don't actually know what the correct definition of that is. I think it might be a long sword in the broadest definition. It's a broad sword. That's what we're going to call it. Okay. Might need to rent the movie and examine it. Well, yeah, I have, like I said, the entire death scene ripped down frame by frame, 12,000 frames, to capture some good images of the shield, actually, because there's very few reference images to the shield itself. So I have some crystal clear definition on the shield, but it was during my investigations to get a good profile for the blade that I came across the two very distinct looking images of this fucking sword. It's doing my head in, man! But I thought with your knowledge base, you would have a keener eye than I. Did that movie recently get redone for Blu-ray? You know what? I don't know. I'm very, very keen to get this right. Windows service updates, a normal part of keeping up. You know what? Another time. How about piss off? Don't ask me, do you want to reset? The blade is too skinny, no basket or quillion guards. I thought the crossguard itself was, the tips of the crossguard, it was defined as a quillion. So that basically you could grab the sword by its blade and bludgeon your opponents with the quillions to try and penetrate their armor. Cool, there it looks like there's a Blu-ray version. I'll pop down to JB and see if it's in the clearance bin, because you would think that's probably where it's going to end up, unfortunately. So your, yeah, that's what it is confirming my rant then about the crossguard ends being quillions used to bludgeon, that kind of thing. Claymore has a wide tapered crossguard. Or were you agreeing with what I was calling it, either an arming sword or a long sword? It's like a movie sword that no one would use. The one in the reference picture on the right that Fen put up, yeah, it looks like a fucking... I don't know what it looks like. It looks like a penetrating weapon for a starter. Having that long tapered blade like that, it doesn't look like a... Does it make sense to have that big ugly crossguard? No, it doesn't. But it's going to have it in the build that I make. Because it's got a really pretty detail that I'm going to put into it. Where are my reference images? Do I have reference images for this yet?
No.
Commissions, Highlander Sword and Board. Now, while I've just said that the handle is all wrong and the pommel is all wrong in this reference image, I want to use this reference image to put in those beautiful details and that name in that crossguard. But like I said, the binding on the handle, or the colour of the handle, and the shape of the pommel do not reflect the pommel that he's, or the handle and the pommel of the sword that he's holding. Oh, you fucking pain in the ass, really? Did I just use... Of course. Now I'm back again. Yep. Welcome back, gentlemen and ladies, and those of you who do not prescribe to any gender. I really enjoy talking to myself, as I have been doing for the last 2-3 minutes. Now, as I was trying to show you, despite the fact that this handle is all wrong, I want to use this reference image for the details on the cross guard, because it's a really nice clear, but the handle is the wrong color and the pommel is the wrong shape when compared back to that reference image that Fen put up. Boink. See? At the top of the page where he's sharpening it, the proportions are totally different. Here, the width of the cross guard to the length of the handle and the shape and size of the pommel, to this thing here, the width of the cross guard, the length of the handle and the shape of the pommel, it's all just wrong. There's this shoulder slightly that tapers down to a sharp point blade with beveled edges on it. The sword that he's holding in his hand doesn't look like anything like that.
Nope.
Whoop. Where the hell am I? Here. Bink. Stream. The blade is very plain and simple design, probably made very quickly. His katana is well crafted. Yeah, his katana's the star of the show. The broadsword, or the fucking long sword that he's wielding in the fight scene is, it gets 5, maybe 10 minutes screen time tops. What are you looking at me with that bloody look on your face? Freaking emo? Ah, prop store auction, view auctions catalog. Ooh.
No.
Connor McLeod's Christopher Lambert's sword. It's loading up, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
Good morning. Just trying to get you.
Come on. It's taking forever to load the screen up for me, guys. I'm going to shut that down. Let's shut that down, and that down, and that down, and that down. Google Fu is strong. So yes, that project and this one on the workbench before I meet you both need to be finished in the next 6 weeks. No fuller, a slight distal taper on the flat, probably very slight width taper. Yes, see, slight width taper, that's the thing. Whereas those bloody, it's still fucking loading up, Jesus Christ, really? All of the ones that I'm seeing from the replica all the ones I'm seeing from replica sword, makers have got that very, very sharp taper to the blade from the crossguard down to the tip is just 2 straight lines converging at the tip. It's like stupid. Doesn't look a thing like the thing he's swinging around in the goddamn movie. They should know by now, cosplayers and prop makers are freaking anal about screen accuracy. The prop house picture is the sword used in the movie. The prop house picture is the sword. That's the one that's taken forever to upload for me. Highlander sword. You see, it does not end. It's not two parallel sides to the blade coming down to a tip. These, it's not tapering all the way down the blade. It tapers down shallow, and then as we get to the tip, it comes to a peak. They only want £6,000 for that. See the handles, everything. That's the sword I'm going to end up trying emulating for him. Thank you for that. I love you. I love you. I love you. That's going straight to the pool room. Bookmark that page. Fucking beautiful. Thank you very, very much. Get 3 of them at that price. Hell yeah. Oh, it's loaded now. I've just managed to pop over there. Beautiful. And I've bookmarked that screen too. Okay. This sword, however, here's a different project. This is the GreatSword. The steel GreatSword from the GreatSword game Skyrim. And this puppy gonna be fun to make. Yeah, you're basically losing money if you're not buying 3. Yeah. So this is the one that is before me tonight. And this one this one is this sword here. So all the lines and stuff that you've seen me marking out basically in preparation to put the core in. And that's what I'm about to start doing now. Now I've marked those lines in and I've ensured that the profile on the outside sits directly above the profile on the inside. We're going to remove those grooves. This is the beady, the same technique I used for cutting the fuller in on the outside of the blade, where I cut the bulk material away with a cut the bulk of the material away with a V cut coming in from both sides, and then rounded out the trench with the Dremel sanding drum. I'm going to do that to give me a recess to sink the you can just never use the term claymore if you wish, so strike it from my vocabulary. With pleasure. All a claymore is a sword used in Scotland. See, now, theoretically, the sword I'm making, not this one, the one we've been discussing for the last hour, is a sword that supposedly was made in Scotland. There goes my bit rate again. And again. Bitrate is taking a nosedive again, guys. It's bouncing everywhere from 900 kilobits a second. It plateaus at about 700, which is where it normally is, but it's diving down. So what I'm going to be making then, the Highlander sword, the Connor MacLeod Highlander sword, is a dual-edged broadsword. Yeah? Luckily, it's an iconic movie sword, and I can just refer to it as the Highlander sword, the Connor MacLeod Highlander sword, as opposed to the strutting peacock bastardized katana with the bullshit handle. Yeah. Okay. Something doesn't feel right about that. So what have you been working on anyway, Beauty? It's all been about me so far. The reason I'm so excited and verbal about that Highlander build is I'm really comfortable. I think I'm turning out some really decent swords and shields. The Highlander sword and shield combo is for the client who asked for the Ghostbusters Proton Pack that's been doing my head in. We have now come to an arrangement where the Proton Pack is getting shelved, not making it. And instead, he's moved to Plan B, which is the Borden sword from Highlander. If you strip swords down to their core, it's just about what they did. Yeah. Did they stab, slash, or bash? Yeah. And you only have to look at the technique used in that little 10-minute fight scene. Those guys are not plunging at people, they are hacking at people. So their swords would have been designed as slashy swords and heavier ones as bashy swords, I suppose. So there's no way that Connor's blade needed to have that fucking pointy freaking long taper down. I don't know if they try to stick monikers on them to confuse things. I think they tried to stick monikers on them so we can easily identify them. Much like we were asking you to do with the armor map, is so that we could all kind of go, okay, this is an X, that is a Y. So yeah, I think the whole idea of naming the swords, putting monikers on them, was probably to try and clarify one from another, but like you said, it just confuses the shit out of things when there's no consensus between the clarifications. Probably gone off screen, haven't I? Yep. Okay, I'm all the way down here, guys. Yoo-hoo! Now, the biggest fear I have when doing these recesses for the cores is penetrating out the other bloody side of the phone. People call foils rapiers and they're not, for example. Now that you mention it and you use that example, I would have thought they were pretty much the same kind of thing. Because to my mind, a foil is a very long, thin, slender weapon. Although that's not necessarily the definition of a rapier, is it? Ugh, can't type. Rapier is a thin, sharp-sided blade with a piercing tip. A foil is a triangle, and the only... Yeah, okay. So yes, I was just about to sharpen my blade with a ruler. For a while there, I thought that the rapier was the thin, was Needle from Game of Thrones, okay? But that's actually a foil based on that thin definition. God damn it, I can't get the two freaking cuts to... Got to hit refresh. No, stream wasn't done. Bloody well. OBS is dropping in and out on me though. Removing all this material from the center really reduces the structural integrity of the phone. Thank God I put a freaking core back in there to replace it. Is an stock sword, so now you're confusing me even more. But is it not purely a piercing weapon? I know it's really hard. It's a fucking made for TV, make up their own rules as they go kind of thing. Because it's not meant to bend, just pierce with maximum penetration. Oh, okay, cool. Meanwhile, Beauty's sitting there going, for Christ's sake, I just came here to watch a stream and chill, not to get my uni degree out and have to do it all over again. G'day, Fourth Icon, how are you, buddy? You very well? Good to hear. Me? I'm doing alright. Got a stressful load off my hand with a commission that's being converted to something that I can achieve with pride rather than something that was stressing me out to try and make. Foil means to foul attacks. Ah. Somewhere around here is a little coping saw. Voila. The finished commission for Yon came out great. It did. Now we have issues getting it to him. Flexible action makes it easier to wield and counter, reprise in an Agrippa style. Yeah, I'm glad you weren't here earlier on when I was calling the issues in a cost sense. Yeah, no, definitely in a cost sense, mate. Both DHL and FedEx want $300 Australian to send that sword to the Netherlands. And while it would not be polite to discuss the price that we settled upon me making it, let's just say $300 is an excessive amount of freight. Ricasso! Thank you! Ricasso, yes! You want to give her a tiny little shield to play with? It's cut now, isn't it? I don't know if I'm ever going to find a use for that, but we'll put it down there. So now that I've got that recess cut out of one, so it stops about 5 centimeters from the top of the pommel, but it goes the full length of the handle and it extends into the pommel a little. And the tip or the end of the core is about 10 centimeters from the tip of the blade, which will give me the ability, as I said, to give it the taper both in silhouette and in profile. Now what I'm going to do is find my file. I'm going to round off the edge of the dowel on both ends so that any flexibility here doesn't rub up against a very sharp edge and wear away through. However, she was told to throw needle away. You're getting well past my depth and knowledge on Game of Thrones, because I don't actually watch it. I've seen a couple of episodes and I'll sit down and watch it occasionally if the High Elf is watching it in the lounge room and I've got nothing else on. But yeah, I don't religiously watch every episode, or for that matter, I've probably seen in total 3 or 4 episodes. No, that's probably an understatement. It's probably a few more than that, but not many. I know. Everybody watching just died a little bit. She hid it and she couldn't bear. HBF has changed its stuff on me, so I can't do what I wanted to do. Oh, your trial. Fuck this. Ah, so you're saying She was told to throw it away. She didn't, and you think that is going to be what bites her on the bum. A sociopathic need to murder people will probably be what gets her in trouble more than... Okay. We're not getting into spoiler territory with any of that sort of stuff, are we? For upsetting one of maybe the 10 people on here who like it but haven't seen it. I don't know. I must find another way to watch the new season. I must. Okay, so the ends of the dowel are rounded off now. There's a lot of material to get taken. Whoa, Jesus Christ, fourth? She's not a servant of the many-faced god, that's true. She's still learned a vast amount of their skill set, enough to make her a serious threat in Westeros. It's more complicated when you look at it. She owes her life to the many-faced god in exchange for completing her list, but that comes more from the book than from the show. Cool. Well, I mean, not for my sake, I'm not a watcher, so that's okay, but just so we don't upset anyone who is, that treats it as a near religious experience. I mean, it's not fucking Star Wars, for crying out loud. Come on, people. Vader means father in Dutch. Yeah. Yeah, I love how they know. Episode 8's going to be just like this. Will you just shut up and watch it? I mean... George didn't know that Leia and Luke were going to be brother and sister, and he wrote the freaking thing. How the hell do you purport to know what's going to happen in episode 8? All I know that happens in episode 8 is Luke trains Rey at least a little bit, because we see her doing some training on the island. That The Last Jedi is a plural reference and not a singular reference, because that title in some languages, Jedi, is written as a plural term, not a singular term. And that's about it. And it doesn't matter, because I'm going to be watching it anyway. Well, Hare Krishna, I don't know. I must admit, as much as I love the movies and stuff, I'm not big on the whole behind-the-scenes lore of Star Wars. Or is he? Yeah. We all know he was really pissed off about his role in episode 7. I mean, all that dialogue and all so little money. Is that the other way around? Geez, I don't know. Actor. What does he do for a living? He plays pretend. I want to think that this bigger picture thing, that they did this and that for a better reason. Yeah, it'd be nice, but I think it's a Hollywood process nowadays, mate. Unfortunately. Guess who's back? Slim Shady? You are shady, most definitely. You have to go out of town to use the anvil. Is that because you don't have an anvil, or because you're so goddamn noisy the townsfolk don't want you banging away on the thing? I like that. Too loud. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. So what, load the anvil up into the back of the truck, head off to some bush track and start smashing away on the rivets until some farmer moves you on. Okay, so that's one of the recesses cut, and I think it's deep enough to hold that. So you can go to the process of doing it on the other layer. And once that's done, once this is removed from this side, I can glue these two together. $120 sounds like a lot, but it isn't. Until you have to hammer the whole fucking things out in the scrub. $340. Nah, that didn't fucking work. Can't even feel a weapon at that point. So with the time investment that you're putting into making a set of steel armor, do you do a lot of like Renaissance fair kind of things so that you can get some return on your investment, for want of a better term? You want to work in foam so bad right now, it's not funny. Well then, why don't you, my friend? There you go. As Jon says, why don't you? Right. Back with the song of my people. Your family won't let you do anything cosplay related. So are you watching me against your family's permission? Because surely what I do is cosplay related. They want you to be normal. Fucking define normal. Thank you, Beatty. Indeed, what Yon said, share pick a chores when you can. Crims, I was about to step up and go, well, mate, while you're still living at home with your parents and all the rest of it, you should kind of honour their wishes. It won't last forever. But you're a 30-year-old man. You're not a boy. I think you have the right to do what you want to do with your time and your money, mate. I'm sorry. No, building costumes is cheap. Shipping them around the world is fucking expensive. Oh, this is. It would be a gag if it was funny, mate. Yep, as far as I can tell. Based on some detail that I got today, it is a customs issue at the moment. Well, they can keep it in customs for up to 45 days before they have to notify me. It's been in customs since the 17th of last month, which by me makes 32 days. Because they're overworked and understaffed, they have 30 people supposedly trying to go through up to 2 million items a day. No, there's definitely an issue, Beardy. It might be my declared value of the item. Well, you declared the axe to be worth $30 because that's what it took to build it. It has no retail value because it's not for sale, it's a prize. So they may suspect us of trying to circumvent import duty. Or it may be that around the top of the axe there is that fake fur and they're not sure whether it's natural fibre or not. I honestly don't know what their fucking problem is. Yeah, a guy who is actually involved in the ICS sorting centres put a post up explaining that there are 6 ICS centres across the states or something. Each one has 500 full-time employees there purely to sort the incoming items that need to be reviewed by customs, and there are only 30 custom officers in there doing that review, which you would think shit piles up, but apparently they push things through quite rapidly until something flags as a reason not to. Because, as he explained, a lot of their economy is based on getting mail moved around as expediently as possible. Without knowing what their issue is, there's nothing I can fucking do, is there? And to make it worse, the Postal Service tracking is rather spotty, to say the least. But once an item enters ICS for customs, there is no ability to track where that is in their process. It goes into the warehouse, eventually it pops out the other end, and then tracking resumes. But while it's in there, it's in a fucking void, man. It's not even the USPS tracking at the moment. They've tracked it right up to the door of the ICS unit. While it's in that warehouse, for however long it's in there, you can't ring customs and go, I have a tracking number for my item. Can you tell me where it is in the process? They actually say that on the customs website, because it's one of the things I looked up today after getting extremely frustrated as to where the fuck this axe is for this client. Well, he's not a client, for this winner. I got tracking, like I said, left Mandurah on the 12th, it got to Perth on the 13th, it hit the US on the 17th, it got to the ICS centre the afternoon of the 17th, and now it's in the void. It's gone past the event horizon, and we're waiting for it to spit out the other end of the black hole somewhere. Okay. No, actually, I think you added an extra step. Shipped and then stolen from your porch. Yeah. Okay. This step of the process is what I call trimming the fat. So I'm cutting away from about 1 centimetre outside of the profile, so that when I slap the glue on, I don't have to slap the glue on over all of this surface, because obviously that's a waste of fucking time, glue, effort. Trimming the fat, not tugging my fat, trimming the fat. Different thing, yeah. Perverted little animal. In Norway, if you buy land and build, you can leave 50 years and come back one day and it's still yours. Not in the US. As long as you're not chewing your fat. Because that's a level of contortionism I do not want to see. Not here. Money could be made there. It's just sitting there wasting space. You could have paid parking lot. You could have a paid parking lot there that no one will ever use. You have to pay land tax on a house and land that you paid for and you own. Yep. We call it capitalism. The only reason I know, my uncle died 4 years ago. His house in Norway is still sitting there. No one has money to go and live there. Oh, for Christ's sake, if you tell me about this fucking update again... Grims, hello, we are with Windows OS and we are hoping that you have a moment of your time to put in a good word about the update. No, sorry, nothing comes to mind at the moment. I have a house I rent out in another state, $2,000 a year, just to have it sit on a lot my family has owned 25 years. Yep. We have council and shire rates for homeowners, yeah. Land tax and all that other crap. Excuse me, sir, do you have a moment to talk about our Savior and Lord Voldemort? Slytherin. The Old Father. It's funny because it was a crow. We're getting there. Once I cut away all this excess material, I'm going to glue these two templates together with the dowel in the middle. For me? Oh no, that's not for Beardy. Good day, do you have a moment to talk about Freya? Oh gosh. Sauron. One ring to rule them all. One ring to bind them. There's a 10-year invasion of rhino beetles. Okay. And in the darkness find them. They're all over the palace. Ugh. Ta-da! God damn it, it's 3 AM and I've been streaming for 3.5 hours. Right. Pull my finger out. Oh, that's blunt. I can fucking feel how blunt that is. Dracula. Right, cut out this piece here, and let's get down to business to glue some foam. Sounds moist. Oh no, have blown a popsicle stick. Yeah. So I've laid some glue down the channel. Well, yeah, Edward Cullen, Sparkle, 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 seemed to have the perfect haircut all the fucking time, the perfect hairdo, and, you know, if you can't see in the mirror, how the hell did he brush his hair? Does his mummy still do it for him? Ah. You were talking about Bela Lugosi's Dracula. I was talking about Bram Stoker's Dracula. I mean, it's his idea. Oh, and you reckon they just glam, do they? They don't look good. They just confuse us into thinking they do. Ah. See, that's just freaking cheating. Bastards. Vamps are too self-conscious to glam people into thinking that as a rule. Okay. They just wander around going, I want to suck your blood. Ah, 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 ah. I don't say blah, blah, blah. Huh? Both of those are incorrect, are they? Dagnabbit. Narcissistic. See, I'm not sure about that, Beardy. I'm not sure any self-respecting vampire would want people to see them sparkle. They don't count. Sparkle pies. No, they don't count. Full stop. Ever. Okay, so we have the dowel glued in the one half. This is our master, which not only has recess in there, but it also has our cut pattern. Ooh, shit. Really? That might be a little freaking close, actually. God damn it. Hurry fire! Hello? Thank you very much for the host. You'll have a fancy new grey icon. Okay. Instead of the old white tee. Oh yes, I changed my face out. I changed the DP. Right, sorry, I didn't know what you meant. Yes. So I put my Nord face up there. You had me confused for a minute there. I'm old. Yeah, I read the regs on the subscribers emoticons because mine was taking forever, and you can't have a letter or a number as your emoticon. So I thought, well, I'll cover the bases and I will change out my picture as well and get rid of my T in case. And puts a photo of my smiling dial up there because ego. Okay, once again the object of the game is to get the glue right up to the very edges, so that when I do trim this down, the surface is glued across its entire area, including the excess that I'm going to cut away. I think we just ran out of backing music. You'll have to learn the shade of it. It probably gets a bit dimmer when you go offline. It might do, yeah. Usually greys out, does it? Okay. But then you get that lovely full screen Tyrannus is offline page. Look at that beautiful photo of my face again. It's not much difference. Well, thank you. Appreciate that. This sword's going to be another big, impressive bit of fun. Oh yes, it does. Yes, the sidebar. And my photo is already a black and white grayscale photo. Right. Haha. Yes. Give that a couple more minutes, if that. A stealthy nod in my big clanking armor. Yeah. Yep, that's not going to work. So we'll use that one. Okay. I was talking about it in real life too, but you know, that's good too. So what have you been up to, Hanfar? Why haven't we seen you around for a while? Was that personal and private? None of my bloody business. Talon Sword! You've never played Skyrim. Skyrim. Oh dear. Forgive them, Lord, for they know what they do. Did just pick up Skyrim, Destiny and Fallout New Vegas for less than £7. Well, now you got no excuse. Except that you may be occupied a lot with the others. Let me just bring out the Twitch. Why? You just linked my channel. What did I miss about the significance of linking my channel, bro? How did you mess up that link so badly? Practice? I don't know. Okay. What the hell we got? We got that. We're going to excuse me, sir, with the bat. Yeah, we did that. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure that's Skyrim, brother. Heresy! Shun the non-believer. It was a joke. You figure you shouldn't make anything more from them until you play them? Okay, well, that's a philosophy. It's not one I actually subscribe to. If you like the artwork of a piece of armour, there's no obligation that you actually play the game before you make the armour, or the costume, or the weapon. I mean, I like to build stuff that I have a connection with, so almost everything I build is from games that I played or fandoms that I enjoy. It's not an obligation. Oh, it is an excuse to have to play them, most definitely. So it's not so much an obligation as it is an incentive. I see. This is a philosophy I can prescribe to, yes. Play Skyrim with the top in your lap. It's good training. Indeed, you're working on helping them develop their hand-eye coordination, motor skills, probably a million good reasons. Terra built his workshop off an axe, so he knows what he's talking about. Indeed! And desensitizing her to the violence around the world, making it less traumatic for her. She likes her little pink axe, by the way. It's on the bedside table in her room. Okay. Think of the probabilities. Weapon dancing and circus. Dude, she is the monster under the bed. Right. Whew. PRB. Righto, my friends. It is glued together. So how tall is that monster of a sword now? We're going to pan out and show you that. Here we go. So, it's glued together. Obviously, it still needs to be profiled and stuff. But resting on the ground, it is, yeah, up to my clavicle. So it is a two-handed great sword. Not for stabby stabby, for choppy choppy. Also doubles as a guitar. It's an oldie but a goldie. Perfectly huge, yes. Obviously, once I trim it down to those lines, also, Tara, can you show the stream my dragon layer again? I certainly can, Ollie. With pride. Voila! Your sword, son. So we've bound the handle in brown, and I've capped it with black on each end. We've put some gems on either end of the crossguard. Put Jon's dragon head in there, breathing flame down onto the shoulder of the sword. Giving him a fuller. I put one coat of black boot polish as a wash and wiped it all off, and then sealed it so that it doesn't look brand new but does not look years old either. So now it is actually a warm, used kind of appearance. Where the hell? I'm trying to get it to fit in the screen. Back a little bit more, down, that way, there. So that's Jon's sword. This is the expensive to send across the... It has a whistle to it, Jon. I'm not sure if you can hear it. Still thinking putting the fuller in was scariest of the entire build. Yeah, it kind of gave me a bit of a tweak. I'm going to kill... I'm going to kill the background music, yep. Just pause for a minute there, Dark. You can hear it, it does come through. Cool bananas. I love it. So, that's your blade, laddie. With a very subtle maker's mark. Very subtle maker's mark. Okay. You know what happens now. It's too damn late. Been going too damn long. 4 hours in 40 seconds. So that's a long enough stream for tonight, I think, my friends. I'm going to pull the pin. I will see you guys. I'll be back on tomorrow, of course. Now that I've got that research material there that Fen and Beardy discovered for me for the other project. I can work hand in hand or simultaneously with both of those swords. That shouldn't be an issue. This one from Skyrim, the steel GreatSword, as well as the sword from the Highlander. So I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Until then, please, thank you very much for your contributions into a chat tonight on this side of the stream. Oops. And thank you very much for those of you who dropped some pebbles into the jar to help with the nail polish, wasn't it? Yeah. Until then, I'm Tyrannus Cosplay, and this stuff's called cosplay because it's meant to be fun. Good night, gang.